It is a rainy night in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but we are ready for USL Championship action here from Highmark Stadium. It's the Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Miami FC. Tonight's match is presented by Allegheny Health Network. With Eric Dobransky, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us. And as we take a look at these two teams, the Pittsburgh Riverhounds finally getting things back on track after losing their first three. They've now won 2 straight.
And putting together a performance that is typical of what we've seen from Pittsburgh Riverhounds teams. 2 goals and a clean sheet. And 2 goals, 1 on a set piece, and then a PK earned here by the drive by Junior Eto. So complete performance. They're going to continue to look to build off this.
And it was Danny Griffin who ended up converting that penalty. Just insurance at the end of the day. On the other side for Miami, 5 straight losses, but then they go out and beat San Antonio.
You can talk about the response as well from conceding early for a team that's conceded the third most goals in the USL. You could look at it and say, here we go again. But the response for Miami and then holding a team like San Antonio, who's one of the top offenses in the West, to only 1 goal.
Well, this is what the standings look like in both these teams, especially Pittsburgh, really not where they want to be at this point.
And not only an opportunity for each of these teams to climb the table, but an opportunity to prove that their recent form is here to stay. Pittsburgh 4 unbeaten and finding their defensive form, and Miami to look to build upon that previous performance.
Looking at today's starting lineups, we'll start with Pittsburgh. It's 2 changes from that 2-0 win from Bob Lilly.
Positional play is going to be important for both sides, but I think the balance for Pittsburgh is going to be switching the point of attack, getting Edward Kizza, Sterling involved. You have Griffin and Robbie Mertz setting the tempo there in midfield, and then Bernardo Forbes and Junior Eto, always a challenge there out in that half spaces, that 1v1, the crossing ability, the quality there in that area.
Our player to watch tonight, presented by Modelo, is Patrick Hogan. Got his first goal of the season last week.
Defensively, ball winner all over the field. Can do it on the ground, up in the air, on set pieces, scoring on that set piece, and he can influence the tempo and possession with his passing range.
A look at the Miami FC 11 tonight from Antonio Nocerino. It's also 2 changes for the South Florida side.
And I mentioned positional play with Pittsburgh, and it's going to be very important for Miami. How do you play around and through this Pittsburgh Riverhounds side? Andrew Booth, Cabral is going to be very important. Gavilanes is going to be really important in terms of how they spark that final third and what really triggers those runs and that commitment in that area.
Well, Alan Gavilanes, he's been a great addition to this team in his first season.
And attacking personality, just natural attacking instincts, positions to threaten goal. He can either be a goal scorer or provider.
Well, we are just about set to go for first kick tonight from Pittsburgh. A bit of rain in the area, but we should be all set to go. We will have first kick from Highmark Stadium coming up next.
Looking amazing.
At AHN, we see you trying to be your absolute best. And when it feels like you lost your best along the way.
Okay.
We see you taking control.
Looks good. Prescription. It says here.
And needing the quickest care possible.
Let's go, let's go.
At AHN, we see you.
Ain't no better feeling than a cold one in my hand. Well, that's why I'll be keeping Iron City in my plans. Oh, everywhere I roam, I'll be thinking about my home. Sitting pouring on the iron right before I go to rest. And when I'm laying in my bed, there's only one thing in my head. Just an ice cold can of Pittsburgh, PA's best.
Living in your dream home, but your deck has become a nightmare? Quaker State Construction can make your deck look better than new with an extreme deck makeover and save you money. It's not too early to create the deck of your dreams with our design team, materials, and hassle-free installation. Get on our schedule now so you're able to enjoy your deck this season. Call Quaker State Construction at 800-262-DECK or go to QuakerStateConstruction.com.
Tonight's match is presented by Allegheny Health Network, the official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Well, here we go. We are just about set for kickoff tonight from Highmark Stadium. Thanks so much for joining us on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Miami FC for the first time in 2024. There's our referee. It is Brandon Stevis, as tonight's match is presented by Allegheny Health Network. These two teams faced off last year. It was a 1-1 draw here in Pittsburgh and then a 2-1 win for the Riverhounds in Miami last September. It is Pittsburgh that leads this series. 3 wins, 2 losses, and 3 draws. It's been pretty even across the board when these two teams have met. Looks like the rain has subsided and we are set for kickoff. It is Miami in orange and in all black. It is the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. There's the whistle, and away we go. It's Pittsburgh, and it is Miami as we get this night the USL Championship underway from Pittsburgh. As we mentioned in the open, it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy start to the season for both of these teams, but both are coming in off of victories. For Pittsburgh, they started the season in a tough spot. They played 3 tough teams. Losses to New Mexico, Orange County, and Louisville. They've turned things around. They are unbeaten in their last 4, and that includes wins in their last 2. But I think it's a bit of a surprise that it took 6 games to get win number 1 for this team.
It is, and this presents a matchup for both these teams that you have the question of what gives. Because for Pittsburgh, one of the lower scoring teams in the USL, 6 goals on the season, 3 of those coming against Phoenix, and then the 2-0 win over Detroit City FC, playing a team in Miami that has conceded the 3rd most goals in the USL. So, you know, for a team that is starting to gain rhythm offensively in Pittsburgh, can you continue to create the number of chances? Because Bob Lilly felt, even in some of those performances where they were held scoreless, they were still very dangerous.
Gagliardi comes to claim this one. Our injury report, nobody reported on either side. It's presented by Epic Insurance Brokers and Consultants.
And on the Miami side, what a performance against San Antonio. Conceding early and then scoring 2 straight to take that one 2-1 against the San Antonio team that's 2nd in scoring in the West. So collectively, a terrific performance for Miami, and for a team that started 1-1-1. They started the season with a 2-0 win against Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and then a 1-0 loss to Sacramento Republic, who is one of the only remaining, or one of 2 remaining unbeatens in the USL Championship. So you go back and you look at that, you think that's a solid result as well, and then a 2-2 draw against Orange County. I mean, those first 3 games, you go 1-1-1, but you look at the score lines, and that's why sometimes score lines can be deceptive. But then turn around and then play Charleston, Hartford, you lose 3-2 there, and then that louder loss against Tampa Bay Rowdies, that 5-2 at home.
And Antonio Nocerino said coming into this week, now this is the time to push on and keep going as they try to take some of that momentum from last week here on the road, as this is chipped forward. Lopez couldn't get anything on it. Maybe it was touched. It was not. It is out for a goal kick. There's a look at Bob Lilly as we can take a look at our keys to the game. They are presented by Icy Light, the premium light lager that embodies all things black and gold.
And for Pittsburgh, it's going to be getting off to a fast start. And in no way do I want to look ahead, but this is a team that plays in the U.S. Open Cup just a few days from now. And I don't mean fast start in terms of the scoreline, but a fast start in regards to the rhythm and tempo they're playing both on and off the ball defensively. They're always going to be structured and hard to break down. So, and then on the ball, you know, who's setting that tempo, and Robbie Mertz, Danny Griffin, the danger that you have up top with Sterling and Kizza. And for Miami, be efficient. This is a tough Pittsburgh team defensively. You can create some chances. They've shown throughout the season that you could play through them, but it's about now capitalizing on those moments.
Well, they might have a moment here in transition. It's taken away in the middle, Gagliardi. And now Gavilanes. And this is just part of the allure of this stadium, Highmark Stadium. You got the river, you got the train, you got it all here in the Steel City.
Just feel trapped in there. You've got the train, you've got the fans around you. Just continue to set a tremendous atmosphere here at Highmark as well.
People say, and maybe me included, and I'm not going to put myself on a limb here, but I think it's one of the best settings in all of American soccer. You got the skyline in the background right on the river. It is just a great place to watch a game. Here's Barbier as Miami's looking through the lines. Chipped over the top. Lopez could be in. A swing and a miss on the shot as he was a bit off balance coming through.
And we've seen this early from Miami here. They've had the opportunity to get their head up, and that's something that Bob Lilly mentioned this week that is something that they need to continue to improve on defensively, is not allowing that time and space for opponents to get their head up, pick out their pass. Because you can get really opened up there, and we've seen it from Miami. They've had a wide service that went through the face of goal, and then now that clipped in ball over the top.
Here's Kenardo Forbes, who is making some history, has made history in the past. Leader in minutes played now in the USL Championship after last week, as this cross comes in. Today he's the first Pittsburgh player to play 200 appearances in all competitions with the Riverhounds. It seems like each and every week it's something new for Kenardo Forbes.
What a career he continues to have, and it's not even just the sustainability and the ability, as we've seen Antonio Nocerino seeing something that he wants to get corrected really early, but for Kenardo Forbes, just continuing to do it at such a high level.
Of course, the leader in assists in USL Championship history as well. And on a team that has gone through quite a few changes from last year. The most glaring one, of course, is Albert Dikwa. Edward Kizza is still very much here. Albert Dikwa moving on to Rhode Island, so they've had to bring in Keziah Sterling. And it just seems like Forbes is here every year, and he still gets the job done for this Riverhounds side.
And there's no question that a player like Kenardo Forbes is one of those players that Bob Lilly leans on when you do get off to a bit slower start than what you expect Pittsburgh side to start out, you know, season-wise. He's been there, he's seen it all. He can take some of those younger players and some of those newer players into this squad and kind of guide them in the right direction.
Forbes in the middle as Miami give it away again as they build out.
And I think that was a big question for Pittsburgh coming into the season, was where were the goals going to come from? You lose Albert Dikwa, and you bring in Sterling, and then you have Kizza, and Bob Lilly said it wasn't going to just be from one person that was going to replace the goals from Albert Dikwa. It was going to be a collective effort, and that takes time. And when you start out the season a little slow, they were shut out 2 games in a row and then scored the one against Lou City in that 3-1 loss. And then after that, 2 0-0 draws. So defensively, you can see, and these are 2 teams in Pittsburgh especially, that their defensive posture dictates their offensive ability to go forward and be dangerous.
Ball did go out of play as Mertz could not keep it alive, but something Bob Lilly did say was, it's important we aren't reliant on just one or two to score, and it seems like that's never been the case. As you see, Kenardo Forbes, 200 matches for Pittsburgh in all competitions, but it's never really been the case until really last year with Dikwa getting the Golden Boot. Pittsburgh's never really had a goal scorer that's gone out and scored 20 or more goals. Isaiah Sterling coming over from South Georgia Tormenta. A big piece in that, and that's another giveaway for Miami building out. I'm sure that is something Antonio Nocerino is definitely cognizant of in this game today, is they can't give the ball away against its Pittsburgh side. And
especially seeing how Pittsburgh punished Detroit City, and that was something that Pittsburgh did a tremendous job of in that matchup. Talk about momentum. Detroit City carrying a lot of that momentum, taking an unbeaten record into Highmark, but it was their ability to win the ball higher up the field. And when you can do that, you get defenders out of position, you get isolated. We saw it with the dribble and drive by Junior Eto that led to the penalty kick. As you mentioned, something that Antonio Nocerino is not going to want to see throughout this match, even if you have to skip a layer, just like this ball over the top, and then be ready to win this second ball.
This is played down the line again. Gagliardi was battling with Osumanu and nothing doing for the Miami FC man. So Miami side, you mentioned in the open, they've just conceded a ton of goals this year, as they are just trying to get things going in that area of the field and then maybe look up the field. But against San Antonio, maybe a bit of a surprise that they conceded early and then scored a couple unanswered to come away with the win. Antonio Nocerino saying, I liked everything about the performance, liked the reaction. He said, one win is nothing. Now we need to keep going. It's true for this side. It's been a while since they got a win. It was all the way back to open this season. Now they're just trying to carry it on as they get into an important part of their schedule. Another tough game against Indy, then Phoenix coming up as they get through the month of May.
And Antonio Nocerino had talked about, we asked about the goals against and some of those results. And he feels like his team has really taken upon themselves and grown into limiting some of the individual mistakes that they were making in some of those matches. You look at the Rowdies game, that 5-2 loss. I mean, they've really tightened up, recognizing their roles and responsibilities on and off the ball in the various phases. So we see the foul here on Gavilanes. He's going to be somebody that mentioned those second balls. He's going to have the freedom to roam, so he's going to have that ability to dictate the tempo once he gets on that ball.
Here's Forbes. They'll move it out wide. It's Etu with his head up and surveying Forbes. And now Danny Griffin. Danny Rovira, another long tenured player with this Pittsburgh side, entering his 6th season with the club. And there's Biasi on the far side who couldn't keep that in play. Here's Booth. And look for space in the middle. Gavilanes plays it all the way back. Miami trying to play through lines, blocked down. Etu again. And Miami will restart at the back with Knutson.
I think another key for Miami is going to be recognizing when they can play forward and when it is time to reset, maybe play sideways, play backwards, as we just saw Gavilanes play back to his center backs, because when you have Pittsburgh spread out and some channels to play into, you've got to take advantage, and you've got to be aware of those moments. And right now here early, Miami has found a good balance, playing on the half turn, being aware of the space that's available in front.
Might be space opening as Forbes finds it with Etu on the far side. A heavy touch, can he track it down? He cannot, but this does stay in play. Nico Cardona tracks it down for Miami.
You have to like the structure that both teams are presenting right now. Miami's doing a good job of their ability to be on the ball in moments like this and not get too impatient. And then Pittsburgh swinging the ball from side to side, picking their moments, isolating Junior Eto.
Here come the Riverhounds again. Griffin late arriving. Griffin moves it out wide. Crossing chance all the way to the back post. I think it evaded everybody as it'll trickle out of play. It took a slight deflection off a Miami defender.
Good tackle here, and it leads to a good offensive sequence for Pittsburgh. And they have the ability to hit teams with their counter and that quick strike. But when they're able to swing that ball from side to side and be patient and find those wide areas and then the half space, collectively, the commitment, the numbers that were in the box, that was a dangerous ball played in by Junior Eto.
Again, it's Mertz looking in fields. Usumanu. And Biasi. Moved out wide, able to turn the corner. Pass right in front, it's tapped home. Keziah Sterling. And Pittsburgh is off the mark early at Highmark.
And I was talking about the isolation there out wide from Junior Eto. And what a shifty move there in that 1v1. Patience to get head up. And then Eto, not only the move there out wide, but picking out his pass. And Keziah Sterling, back shoulder run into the available space. Easy tap in for him, and a great start for this Pittsburgh side.
Sterling, who scored his first goal of the season a couple of weeks back against Phoenix, and the first win of the season for Pittsburgh. Well, now he's on the board with his second goal. The former Tottenham youth player, but he has really been a good player in USL League One over the last 2 years. With South Georgia Tormenta, scored 13 goals last year, 17 the year before, and was the USL League One final MVP. And it's Junior Etu who gets the assist on it as well. We talked to Bob Lilly about Keziah Sterling this week. He said he just gets better every week, a better understanding of what we want. He said doesn't really play like Albert Dikwa did last year, but he combines well with Etu there for the opener, and one of the easier goals that he'll score.
And Bob Lilly also talked about a variety in terms of who's scoring the goals and who's being dangerous. But I think what they've continued to show going into this match and the 2 games previous is the variety in which they can score, scoring on set pieces, scoring on the ability to dribble and drive and be dangerous there in the final third. And then in that run of play, getting players isolated, and the timing of these runs, that's timing that you build in training and you build in real time. Because when you lack space and time, it's knowing each other, having that relationship, having that connectivity.
Here's Lopez, able to move it out wide, off the chest, and take it on the first time. Locked out of play. Gonzalo, a good chance. It's a corner kick coming for Miami as they try to respond.
And now for Miami, you have the blueprint for what it looks like conceding first and then going on to get points. And this is a good response.
The corner comes in, couldn't get it by the first man. It's Gagliardi has come all the way out to midfield to retrieve this. Headed forward, Lopez was offside, and Eric Dick will come to retrieve.
When you're 19 minutes into a match and you've just conceded and you earn yourself a corner kick, you want more from a service and something that puts a lot of traffic in the 18-yard box and gives your team an opportunity. So one missed there for Miami.
Here's Rovira. Turned over, Barbier leads the break for Miami. Still Danny Barbier. It was poked away. And now he's out of position. Can Pittsburgh take advantage? Mertz has to slow things down. How about this for Pittsburgh? They have avoided defeat in their last 23 games when they score the opener in league play. That goes all the way back to September of 2022 against Birmingham. Down the line, Etu again. Here's Keziah Sterling. Sterling again, shooting chance. This one well wide. Or did it take a deflection?
We'd like to wish a happy birthday to Corey, Olu, Colton.
I can only imagine that a lot of what you can't necessarily game plan around not conceding first, but I can only imagine that a lot of the discussions when you play Pittsburgh and Bob Lilly's side is don't concede first early, because they're already difficult to break down, and it only adds to that discomfort of having to find ways to create. See Bernardo Forbes trying to make any room that he can.
Any available real estate. Forbes driven all the way to the back post. Osumanu is up for it. I think Mertz wanted to take that on the volley.
Robbie Mertz was lining up for what would have been a spectacular one-time take.
At least an effort.
Yeah.
This is a Pittsburgh side that is not easy to score against. They've conceded just one goal in their last 4 games after they were outscored 6-1 in their opening 3 games. Bob Lilly said, I thought the Tampa Bay game was maybe the best game of the season for Pittsburgh, even though they didn't score. Now they've started to put it together, locking down defensively and getting things going higher up the field. With this man here who is fouled, Keziah Sterling. It's a free kick coming for Pittsburgh.
And I think that was one of the surprising aspects of Pittsburgh's start to the season was the 6 goals in 3 games. It wasn't necessarily the overall result itself and not taking away points. It was, as we see the foul here on Cardona. And this is where Miami has to be careful, because you've had a decent response after conceding, and got to hope that Sterling's okay. But these are areas where Pittsburgh is very dangerous as well on these set pieces. This looks like they're taking a look at that left shoulder of Sterling. Had to be something in regards to the fall.
And while we have a moment, Sterling trying to get back to his feet. And he's holding that shoulder where you can see those armbands being worn by all the coaches and the players. Before today's game, there was a moment of silence to honor Terry T.C. Schallenberger, the father of team owner Tuffy Schallenberger. He was a devoted husband, father, grandfather, and an avid fan of the Hounds. And our thoughts are with the Schallenberger family at this time. A good moment there for all the players and coaches to show their appreciation. As this is put back in play, as the Riverhounds look to add a second. Up to the back post, the header coming centrally. Forbes trying to track this down. Riverhounds fans, join us on Saturday, May 18th for Spaceballs Night. That includes a special appearance by Michael Winslow when the Riverhounds welcome North Carolina FC to town. You get your tickets today. Now that is pretty cool. You a Spaceballs fan?
No, I don't. I can't say
no.
that. Yeah.
That's okay. You don't
I
have
can't
to
say
be.
that I'm well versed in.
Here comes Miami. Moving on.
I'm actually intrigued. As you were reading, I'm intrigued by what this theme night is, and I take it they didn't go for.
It's a Mel Brooks special. We'll just leave it at that. Gagliardi talking to.
I always fall short in movie references.
Oh, trust me, I do too, but that's one of the few I have seen. Here's Biasi. And now Forbes. Another foul in the middle and a free kick going Pittsburgh's way. It just seems like Miami have not really gotten into a rhythm so far tonight. And Bob Lilly did say, we have to play through our midfield. That's the strength of our team. And it seems like the midfield has just been taking over this game for Pittsburgh. And this man has a lot to do with it.
It has, and you could see the spacing and the structure. We talk about them defensively, but on the ball, they're getting good space between the lines, good timing. And that tempo in which they're interchanging, you could see Robbie Mertz filling in some space, dropping down to get on the ball, then Kenardo Forbes gets higher up field. You can just see that they're becoming more and more comfortable. So we see Gagliardi just playing straight out of bounds.
Osumanu has to play it long over the top. Barbier battling for it, and a foul. Or at least a throw-in coming, no foul.
And for Antonio Notarino and his side, you said it just a few moments ago, have not really built any sort of rhythm or continuity in this match, but you're still only down 1-0. And you haven't given up another clear-cut chance, because that chance for Sterling, well worked, just an easy tap in for Keziah Sterling. But besides that, I mean, Pat Hogan got on the end of a second wave of a set piece, but haven't forced Gagliardi into a difficult save. So you have to like that aspect of the game so far. Now you just need to figure out how to get this game going offensively in your favor.
Some miscommunication there on the far side with Biasi and Etsu as it runs out of play. So far in this game, 3 shots for Pittsburgh, 1 of those on target. Of course, the one that went in, just 1 shot for Miami was blocked. Nothing really going their way so far. As Lopez tries to head this forward. Just down, Mertz quickly over the top. Gagliardi has this one measured.
And I think what Miami had to be good at tonight, they've struggled with a bit here in the first 30 minutes, and it's the ability to win those second balls. They knew that they were going to have to break lines of pressure from Pittsburgh over the top with balls like this into Frank Lopez, but they had to be ready for the second challenge. And there it worked out perfectly, but that ball clipped over the top is a bit forced. He had good numbers going forward. And then here's the goal. Starts with Biasi, and then knowing exactly where he wants to go and what space he wants to access, Junior Eto'o. And then Keziah Sterling's run starts from almost outside the 18, and the timing in which he beats those Miami defenders in. Good collective goal from Pittsburgh. And it started with a ball being won in their defensive half.
Mertz, and now Rovira. Sliding challenge to put this out of play. Ayambila. Rovira again, lifts the cross in. Forbes couldn't get it back. Maybe space in the middle. Back for Gagliardi. And now Miami able to find an outlet through the middle. Cabral for Booth.
And that's well worked for Miami. Unfortunately, it doesn't lead to a chance on goal, but this is a good spell of possession and something that you could build confidence moving forward.
Near side, Ayambila, across a bit overhit. Gonzalo will see this out for a throw-in.
And that string of possession leads to that opportunity, that cross there. And that's the spirit that this Miami side has. And Antonio Nocerino had talked about it, was the competitiveness within the group. And you could see the adaptability here. Although being down 1-0, there is a collective belief.
There was a yellow card given there. Oh, a giveaway, and Lopez is onto it for Miami, and he'll win a corner kick, although he is a bit hobbled, I think. Trying to run this one off. Good work there by Frank Lopez.
Here's the yellow card on Cardona. You can see the handball there.
Stopping a promising attack. Now a chance for Cabral to send this in to the back post. Nothing doing there for Miami. It's cleared all the way out to midfield. Again, played through the middle. Osumanu's there to head it away. Doesn't seem like that's the most practical way to go about things for Miami. As this is played back the other way, Gagliardi way off his line, and he's able to make the save, keeping Edward Kiza out.
And there's a chance for Pittsburgh, but Gagliardi up for the test.
Scary moment as goalkeeper. Don't know where the ball went. Here's Forbes. Forbes plays it through the middle. Took a slight deflection, and Miami can carry it out. Cabral again. Now Gagliardi. Cabral. Here's Barbier. And Knutson. Looking for Lopez. Just kind of playing off the shoulder of the last defender, and he is down for Miami. There'll be a stoppage.
And he had pulled up a few moments ago on that turnover from Pittsburgh when Miami had earned the corner, and now it looks like something that has kept him down.
Don't miss out on this winning combination of flavor. Grab yours now and score big on taste.
I don't see much contact that would have led something. It does seem like it could be an extension of him pulling up just a few moments ago.
He's writhing in pain.
And Lopez is occupying the center backs of Pittsburgh, and although they hadn't been able to sustain some of that offensive momentum, you saw what Frank Lopez was able to do there. And even previous to that play, playing deep on the center backs. Doing a wonderful job of reading that service in. You can just tell that he's in a ton of pain.
Sterling also being worked on that left shoulder. Wonder what he does on the stopwatch.
Yeah, I've wondered the same thing.
Maybe that's worth the question next time.
I mean, I know I've said it earlier in terms of the time that it takes for them to not only reset their possession, but their ability to recognize when they can go forward. I think there's some times where they have Pittsburgh unbalanced, and Pittsburgh's not set defensively, and Miami lets them off the hook a bit because they play the ball backwards or play sideways. And I think that's sometimes the moments where Antonio Nocerino could tell his squad, go forward. You know, we have the numbers, we have the positional play. We're starting with, we have a 3-back. We're starting, you know, Jordan and Guenzano up higher in those channels. Not only do you hope that Frank Lopez is okay for this match, but just even long term, you hope that this isn't something that keeps him out. But in the pain that it looked like he was in.
Here's Gagliardi, pretty much the only orange shirt in this area of the field right now, with no Lopez. Gagliardi takes out of play. It took a deflection. It's a corner kick as Lopez jogs back on for Miami. That's good news.
That's really good to see. And Gagliardi by himself earning the team a corner kick. You saw the late entry and the late run by Gavilanes. Ibanez is going to want to do better than his first opportunity from this corner.
Ibanez, the in-swinger, more depth on this, punched away by Eric Dick. Ibanez comes into the corner again. It's a goal kick this time.
Much better service here. You have the traffic in front of Eric Dick. But Eric Dick doing a tremendous job of meeting that ball, making sure that nothing comes of it. Pittsburgh is gonna want to push this last 5 minutes and see if they can earn a second goal and really own the narrative going into halftime.
Another sliding challenge put in. It's a yellow card. As Etu is the one left on the turf this time. Pretty late.
Yellow card against Miami FC.
It's like Guenzano.
Rocco Genzano.
Young 19-year-olds. Final 5 minutes. Pittsburgh still holding that lead through Keziah Sterling. His second goal of the season for the Riverhounds. Here is Sterling on the ball. It's moved out wide. Etu coming in field, has Forbes on the overlap. Canardo Forbes was flicked along. It's headed back across. It's Rovira, pushed away. It's Mertz. It's still loose. It's Etu, and it's blocked. And Gavilanes gets it away. A scramble in front of goal, and Pittsburgh not able to put it home.
And plays being made by both teams. And for Miami, making sure that this game stays at 1-0. A number of opportunities for Pittsburgh, just unable to get on the end of it. It's that left flank for Pittsburgh that they've found a lot of success here in the first half. You saw that overlapping run by Forbes. Good entry ball here.
Mertz, as this comes all the way through again, and Gagliardi putting himself right into Edward Kizza. And both players are down.
Deceptive move by Forbes out wide, and then that slipped ball in. Across, and as you mentioned, Gagliardi, brave in that attempt to parry it wide.
Both players back on their feet, okay to continue on.
And you can see there, Knutson and Gagliardi discussing. I know that goal kick took a bit to launch, but discussing the area and the space they wanted to challenge. And that's going to be something that Miami's going to continue to look at throughout this match going into the second 45. So on those deep restarts, where, how, and when do you want to access different space that Pittsburgh's leaving available. But it's going to go back to those second ball challenges as well.
Forbes slipped in the middle, but it's Kizza who picks it up for Pittsburgh. Trying to play this down the line, and nothing doing for the Riverhounds here. Barbier again trying to come forward. This time he's fouled. His opposite, number 14. Knutson. We're into 5 minutes of stoppage time to close out this first half. Here's Griffin. Such a reliable player. Griffin has never missed a league game in his pro career. He's in his 5th season with Pittsburgh and his college soccer at Providence. The 15th Pittsburgh Riverhounds player to reach 100 appearances. That was last year. He left to go to Huntsville, and then he came right back. Didn't even finish a full season with Huntsville before Bob Lilly wanted him back on his team. Loose ball in the middle. Knutson, calm on the ball. Mattia Gagliardi. And he gives it away. A foul from behind. Cabral fouling Sterling. Cabral and Sterling, former teammates. They overlapped 1 year at Tormenta. The year that South Georgia Tormenta lifted the USL League One trophy. In 2022.
Tormenta knocking Miami FC out of the Open Cup.
Yeah. Tormenta has to go up against the Charleston Battery this week, and guess who scored again for Charleston? Nick Markanek continues to score. He has 12 goals this year. Most in North America, or at least in this country.
Had some big names.
Yes, I'll let the public figure that one out.
Talk about an offense for Charleston that is just collectively dangerous, leading the league in goals. Last weekend, the 6-0 win over Las Vegas, but Lou City didn't want to be outdone. Had a 6-0 win of themselves against Hartford.
Those are the teams that both of these teams are having to chase in the table right now. In the live standings, Charleston currently 13 points better than Pittsburgh. And over Miami, it's 17 points. That's Charleston at the top. Well, they have played 3 more games than second place Louisville and Detroit. Detroit also in action tonight against Loudoun. North Carolina and Rhode Island going at it as well. 0-0 in both of those games.
And it just shows the various components and elements that go into teams each season. You look at Pittsburgh, the Player Shield winners of last year. Best record in the regular season. Charleston Battery in the USL final. and you wonder where, if both teams are just gonna pick up where they left off. Obviously some key additions to their team, but also some key departures. Augie Williams from Charleston. We talked about Albert Dequa here from Pittsburgh. But Charleston looks like they not only picked up where they left off, but they are in really good form right now.
I think it's safe to say, and maybe Sacramento will have something to say about it, but I think Charleston could be one of those teams to beat.
That was a Surfside splashdown, our 5th of the year.
Everybody trying to chase them.
Our Surfside
Here's Gagliardi. Gagliardi putting this one wide. I think we did just have a river ball here at Highmark Stadium.
This is where you don't want to get overly frustrated. If you're Miami, some congestion there. You want some variety in the runs. You see Gagliardi charging towards the 18. But another positive takeaway for Miami is they have not conceded possession in bad areas in the buildup. They have not given Pittsburgh some easy opportunities.
Just as you say it, it's given away in a dangerous spot. It's Mertz. They did do well, though, to get back defensively. Through the minimum of 5. And the referee wanted to bring it to a close, and now he has. The first 45 has come and gone. Pittsburgh does have their goal. They've been a tough nut to crack defensively. Tough task for Miami in half number 2.
Pittsburgh, it's been a solid complement on both sides of the ball. For Miami, it's flashes. It just hasn't been sustainable. They have to look to play faster. They have good runs coming in on the ball. It's skipping that line and igniting and initiating that attack for Miami, but really good balance for Pittsburgh.
And we have reached halftime here from Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh. Keziah Sterling, his goal is the difference so far in this one. As Pittsburgh has the lead going to the break. It's the Riverhounds 1. It is Miami 0. Halftime is presented by Allegheny Health Network, the official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. 1-0 to the home side.
Hey, you dropped your PA Lottery's new instant $1 million jackpot. It's go time. Coming through. Wow. Whoa. Ooh. You dropped this.
Wow, thanks.
You never know, it could be the big prize. Well, gotta scoot. Keep on scratching.
The Ireland Contracting difference is what we do and how we do it. Quality craftsmanship by Amish crews, so it lasts longer. Reliable products that improve the look and value of your home. And now offering electrical services. Plus, we're the only local company to win the Owens Corning MVP Award for superior work and customer service. With 500 and counting A+ ratings, it's obvious what a difference Ireland Contracting can make. Call 1-800-NEW-ROOF or IrelandContracting.com.
Well, today is opening day for the USL W League, and some big news here in Pittsburgh that they will have a USL W League team coming to the Steel City. Very exciting news as this league continues to grow. Let's take a look back, though, at the save of the week.
Outside from Reyes. Hernandez returns. Reyes got there. Sent it across. Oh, wow, what a save! Far denies Harris.
Elijah Winder, it sat up for him and he caught it sweetly. An opener within 5 minutes for Lou City.
Still get it, Doug.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Distance, oh, what an effort, and it's special.
Machoma fires,
Goal! Looks great. Oh.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
News and notes from around the USL Championship. A lot of moving pieces and parts. How about a new coach in Oakland? But we saw up close and personal Nick Markanek last week. What a performance against Vegas.
And a team in Charleston that just continues to be dynamic offensively and led by Nick Markanek. Those 4 goals against Las Vegas. So important to see them at the top of the East.
Well, the Open Cup continues next week with the round of 32. Many fans will be focused on the USL versus MLS matchups. There's a great history of cup sets when USL teams have pulled off upsets against MLS clubs, and some opportunities again this week. And all of these games will be available to stream on USLsoccer.com. It should be another great week in Lamar Hunt US Open Cup, and it all starts right here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and this Pittsburgh Riverhounds side has to play FC Tulsa twice in a row, play them in the Open Cup, and then play them in league play. So it'll be interesting on what the matchups there are, and then Atlanta United, Charlotte Independence, and then DCFC, Detroit City FC, taking on the Houston Dynamo, a previously unbeaten Detroit City FC team.
A lot of good games Tuesday, and then it just continues Wednesday. Wherever you look, there's going to be good games and chances for cup sets.
It is, and that's what you love about the U.S. Open Cup is the unique matchups you get throughout, whether it's a USL team versus a USL team or USL versus MLS. You just get so many different looks and so many different matchups that it just provides such a great tournament.
Well, it all starts on Tuesday. We will have the second half from Pittsburgh coming up next.
We saw the signs early.
Here come a couple of changes here.
Really intelligent player, feels the game, aware.
Dragicic wins the ball right back for Pittsburgh.
Always had a work ethic about soccer and just always had a passion.
Dragicic headed centrally, Shuttler spills, but it's cleared off the line.
Nate Dragicic, number 17 for the pro team from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and played 11 years in the Riverhounds Academy.
At AHN, good heart care starts before you're just not feeling right. Before you say, it'll go away on its own. Before it doesn't. Because before an emergency, there's time to stop heart problems with a simple preventative heart check. At AHN, we see you.
Pittsburgh is our home. Check in with Thermo Twin. We are employee owned. Check in with Thermo Twin. Check in. Check in. Check in. Check in. Check in with Thermo Twin.
Right now, check in with Thermo Twin for 24-month financing.
Check in with Thermo Twin.
It's Sonesta of Pittsburgh awning and shade sale. Up to 50% off. Up to 50% off retractable awnings for your deck or patio. Up to 50% off retractable screens for any open area. Up to 50% off window, door, or porch awnings. Select from over 150 colors. Plus, get 0% for up to 84 months. Call now and get your awning installed this spring and enjoy it for the summer. Call 1-800-292-5594 or visit sonestaofpittsburgh.com.
Halftime here from Pittsburgh. It is the Riverhounds that have a 1-0 lead over Miami FC as we are almost set for the second 45 minutes of action from Highmark Fields. And in that first half, it felt like Pittsburgh played the game on their terms, how they wanted this game to be played.
They did. They predicated tempo. They dictated where and when they wanted to access space, and they started to find a lot of success out in that left flank area, that half space. And we saw it on the goal. It starts with a defensive win in the defensive half of the field for Pittsburgh. And then it's that patience to not force something and going fast. I mean, Bob Lilly made the reference of you have to have runners on base when we talked to him this week. And it was a good win in the defensive half. Patience in the build. Biasi continuing to dribble, waiting for Miami to step out of that line, playing that ball to Junior Eto with this clever move out here in the half space past Guenzano, and then picking out his runner, and that was Keziah Sterling, who even before this goal, they were starting to build that rhythm offensively, starting to really connect, and it seemed to be coming for Pittsburgh. Now, after conceding that goal, Miami has done a good job of limiting the louder actions for Pittsburgh. I mean, Gagliardi hadn't come up with two other kind of big moments, but you can see for Miami FC, the 2 shots, but neither on target. For Pittsburgh, the 5 shots, 3 of them, and then the possession. This is not typically a number that we see Pittsburgh in favor in terms of possession, but this is a game where, as you mentioned, they are playing on their terms in regards to where they're winning the ball and the complement and the balance they're playing with through the midfield. When you have Mertz, you have Griffin, you have Forbes and Etu really playing well together.
Don't forget those halftime highlights were brought to you by Corona. We'll see what this second half brings for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds as they look to close out this one here tonight. Bit of a light show along the river as we are almost set for half number 2 from Highmark Stadium. But don't forget, today is the opening day of USL League Two. It is also opening day of the USL W League. And Pittsburgh will have a team in the USLW League in the future. Some exciting news for this league that just continues to grow. They'll be playing right here along the river at Highmark Stadium as Super League comes to be this summer and W League now in full force.
And it just continues to add to the vision of the USL and the W League, and the opportunities that for these players to play over the summer at a really high level. And so excited for Pittsburgh to be adding a team. We've seen a number of other teams join the W League. And the quality in which they're not even just the quality on the field, but the quality of the structure, the organizations. There's no question that Pittsburgh is going to be an incredibly valued addition to the USLW League.
Well, it looks like there is at least one sub at halftime for Pittsburgh. It is Bradley Sample, who has come on for Keziah Sterling. And you wonder if that has maybe one eye on the U.S. Open Cup coming up this week, bringing Sterling off the field. Bob Lilly said there would have to be some rotations at some point. Well, this potentially one of them. As we get you set for the second half with Eric Dobransky, I'm Josh Eastern. Thanks so much for being with us here on the CBS Sports Galazzo Network, as we are underway tonight in this second half. Bradley Sample off. A 23-year-old who played his college soccer at Louisville, and now comes on for another appearance for the Riverhounds. Was one of those two changes in the starting lineup from last week's game against Detroit City.
And I would say for Pittsburgh, an extension of what we talked about in the first 45. Get off to a fast start. You talked about them really being able to dictate the rhythm and dictate play. It's going to be important here early.
As we look back at our keys to the game presented by IC Light, that was one of them, the fast start, and not sure Miami's necessarily been efficient so far.
No, we talked about the two shots and neither on goal. You're gonna have limited opportunities in front of a Pittsburgh goal. We saw the shot by Gagliardi late in the first half, and having traffic from his own teammates there, the lack of variety in the runs, and it's something that Antonio Nocerino is going to want his side to improve on. But even with all that said, it's still a one-goal game.
Well, Pittsburgh not an easy team to beat when they are playing from in front like they are tonight. As we mentioned, they haven't lost a game since 2022 when scoring that first goal, but they also haven't lost a game when leading at halftime, back to that same game against Birmingham actually in 2022. They're 16 unbeaten. That's 13 wins and 3 draws when they are leading at halftime. That just goes back to kind of the mentality that Bob Lilly has instilled here in Pittsburgh. Tough to beat, and they really take on the makeup of this city. Kind of a gritty sort of team, as you see that across all sports in this town.
And they're not going to beat themselves. They're going to make you do something special to score. They're not going to turn the ball over in bad areas. They're going to know and recognize their role and what the order of business is in various areas. So that's why for Miami, I've mentioned the ability to have to play through some of the lines quicker. And they've had the position. They're playing a 3-back. They're playing those wide wing backs. So they have that line to break. Just putting yourself in the right spots, and then the timing in which you play into is so important for Miami. And good initial pressure here.
Cardona looking to play this down the line. Guenzano, and Dick had to come out of the box. And he does get this out of play. A throw-in coming for Miami.
Eric Dick having to be very careful there because the ball had yet to bounce. So you just don't know what kind of bounce it's going to take. And although that seems like a simple play, that is one of those plays where you don't beat yourself.
Headed away. Maybe a chance to play this centrally. Lopez was the target, and he couldn't get on the end of it. Booth up to meet it aerially. Battle for it in the middle. Mertz couldn't come away with it. It's Cardona again for Miami.
And that's a great example of Miami needing to be efficient, because it doesn't always mean that they've got to find frame or test Eric Dick anytime they're in the final third, but it's about finding that final pass that leads to that moment. And good pressure there by Miami, picking up the ball in really progressive area and just unable to complete that pass.
Played through the middle. Kizza lays it off. It might be more of a focal point in this second half, with Sterling off the field as it's moved off to the right for Rovira. The cross coming in. Barbier's header is looping out of play, and a corner kick on the way for Pittsburgh.
It's time for a Pittsburgh corner kick.
Mertz will come over to take this. Mertz delivers. It was low to the near post, and it's out for a goal kick. Nothing doing for Pittsburgh. And those stats really tell the story of this game. Pittsburgh have had their chances. They've taken their one, and as always, tough to beat defensively.
And as this game wears on, what does it look like for Miami? The numbers that they've got to commit to go find the equalizer.
Oh, it's a bad giveaway at the back, and the shot is wide. Eric Dick gets away with one for Pittsburgh. Oh my, what a chance for Miami FC.
And route one for Miami, letting this ball drop in a miscommunication between the back line and goalkeeper. Just putting this ball wide, not able to wrap his foot around this finish. Goodness, everything I'm bringing up tonight is
once you say
it, flipping the script.
That is the old announcer's jinx there,
Yes.
Eric.
Saying Miami not turning the ball over in bad areas in the first half, and now Pittsburgh not beating themselves, but getting away with it there. It's always great when you can get away with a loud moment like that and move on.
Move on they will, and they're coming forward again here. It's Kizza. It's out for another Pittsburgh corner.
Hey fans, get up on your feet for another.
You don't want to give Miami any sense of momentum, any sense of, okay, let's just keep trying to go. They haven't had really anything until they were given that chance moments ago.
Yeah, it comes from just a ball over the top, and it's helped along with the miscommunication there, but see if Pittsburgh can make something dangerous here from this free kick, or this corner kick.
It's an in-swinger to the back post. The header back in front. It was right on the line, but Miami keep it out. A chance to move it out wide again. It's Forbes trying to split the double team. Forbes taking off the ball. Good work there from Miami. And now can they get a reward for it? They can't. Biasi, he was fouled. Free kick, Pittsburgh.
And that corner kick was reminiscent of the goal they scored against Detroit City FC. Obviously, the one against DCFC had multiple waves to it, but the initial service crossing both posts and a ball coming back across the face of goal, always difficult to deal with.
Rain starting to trickle down again here at Highmark Stadium. Here's Biasi as it's played down the line. The cross fired in over everybody's head. Collected again at the far side. Mertz lays it off. Forbes, as they just switch the point of attack once again. It's out for a Pittsburgh throw. They'll take it quick. Sample back for Forbes.
And this is definitely one way of exhausting momentum for Miami, is a long spell of possession and a long spell of being in the opponent's final defensive third. And you've seen Pittsburgh earn a couple corner kicks, a couple free kicks, a couple throw-ins.
Played down the line. Another chance to put this in. Right now, Pittsburgh just peppering the box of Miami FC.
But regardless of the chances that you create, you have to believe that the longer this game stays 1-0, the belief that Miami is going to have that they could create a goal and earn a point is going to grow. And that doesn't mean both teams believe it. Pittsburgh knows what they are defensively and knows the chances that they can give up. We all know this game all too well.
You could have a chance like the Eric Dick mistake at the back, or a couple of those. And now, chance for a sub. It is Roberto Molina who is entering. It is the end of the day for the Italian. Mattia Gagliardi, the young 19-year-old, is off. And it is Molina who is coming on, who was acquired in that trade from Indy 11, and also brought Danny Barbier here to the club.
Roberto Molina.
Molina enters formerly with Indy 11, and before that with Las Vegas Lights, El Salvador International.
And somebody in that acquisition that has a lot of ability, but also fits that system here for Miami FC.
Play this down the line. Villanes trying to turn the corner. Got the last touch on that. It was off of Hogan, and a corner kick for Miami. It's moments like these that would just give them more and more confidence.
And this has to be an area that they feel that they could take advantage of. Not because Pittsburgh's bad at it, but mainly because they know in the run of play, in possession, they're going to be limited in what they're able to create. Here on corner kick, you get the bodies forward.
Nothing doing here for Miami. Manzano all the way into the corner and out of play. The struggles continue.
Fans, we'd like to thank Piatta Italian Street Food for helping fuel the team. Piatta Italian Street Food is an official post-game meal partner. You can visit them in several locations, including East Liberty, Oakland, Northway, South Hills, and
Miami
North
right
Fayette.
about the middle of the pack, at least in the Eastern Conference in terms of goals. They've scored 11 so far this year. They were shut out in the game against Birmingham. and against Sacramento. Those are the only 2 games that they have not scored in. And there's been quite a few games where they've scored multiple goals and still lost. Hartford against Tampa Bay in the Open Cup against Tormenta. And now they have to do some defending here. It's rolled in the middle. It's Kizza. Oh, it's saved off the line. Knutson, a big block, and out for a corner.
My goodness, really bad turnover there by Gagliardi out of the back, and what a play here by Knutson. Now staying switched on, having to defend this corner. Talk about getting away with a loud moment.
Corner kick sent in, the heads go up, it's saved! Gagliardi with a big stop, and a foul will end the threat. Hogan thought he had a second goal in as many weeks.
And well played by Gagliardi. As I mentioned, getting away with a loud moment just a moment ago, and then coming up big here on the Hogan header, keeping this game at 1-0. Here we see the turnover. And just not sure what Gagliardi is seeing there, because even if you do hit the feet of Andrew Booth, that is still a difficult space to be playing into. And I'm not sure if he just saw the next layer that he wanted to play into and mishit it. Following that play up with a terrific save.
Those can work as momentum changers as well. Can Miami get anything going forward? It won't be, at least on this occasion, and you can see Antonio Nocerino is not too pleased. Another look at the save.
Very well-placed ball, and you saw Luke Biasi, a little pick play here, bumping the runners of Miami.
I remember a few years ago, Gareth Southgate, the manager for England, he came over to the United States, I think it was for Super Bowl week, but a lot of it was because he wanted to go to some basketball games and see how they screen players for set pieces just like that. We've seen it on numerous occasions across the world. Setting picks, frees people up. Here's Frank Lopez.
Bumping players, not allowing them to hit the spots that they want to hit.
That's a foul as Mertz is pulled down.
Riverhounds fans, just a reminder that after the game, players will be signing autographs on the pitch. Stick around to meet the team, presented by King Orthodontics.
You can see the frustration from Antonio Nocerino. And it has to be because in some of those moments where they can have that sustained possession, they're just casually turning the ball over. It's not like there's immense pressure on them and it's either get rid of the ball or be forced into a bad turnover. It's simply playing the ball out of bounds sometimes and missing feet by a couple yards, and it's a part of being efficient in this match.
Again, Gagliardi playing into another tough spot.
And for Pittsburgh now, you want to see this ball get played backwards to Gagliardi. You want to see him on the ball and him having to break a layer of pressure, and you almost want to bait that ball in. Make him make those plays. Here we'll see it again, see how Pittsburgh wants to set up.
Seems like Miami's missing a bit of that connective tissue in the middle. Either they play it short or they play it long. There's no really intermediate. They do have something here coming through the middle. Give credit to Pittsburgh for that. Midfield is a strong one.
Yeah, for Pittsburgh, they're making this game seem like they're the ones with the numbers centrally, and that comes with being connected in the movement, screening passes, using that movement to not necessarily have to man mark a player there centrally, but denying that entry pass with just merely the positioning you're playing with. You can see some teams work really hard defensively, getting to spots, sprinting to different areas. A lot of the times it's just positionally being in the right spot. Sometimes the best movement is no movement.
Cabral and Molina standing over it. This is Cabral who will deliver. The header is over the bar. It was tipped over by Eric Dick and nearly for Nico Cardona.
What a fantastic service, whipped in, not only with difficult shape to read, but the pace in which Cardona only needs to get a mere touch.
It's an in-swinger again, and the header is over the bar. What a chance for Miami. 2 straight set pieces. Cardona again.
Good front post run by Cardona, and he's clearly feeling the runs on these free kicks and feeling like Pittsburgh can play a little quicker here.
Kizza scratching his head here, and that's because he was hit in the head. It's like Knutson's elbow.
Knutson winning that ball, but also leading with that left elbow. And when you're a team like Pittsburgh, these are going to be moments that you're not going to mind, because you could take the air out of the ball, and it's a team that is feeling good flow and good rhythm on both sides, so these starts and stops aren't going to really affect what you're doing.
That's lofted way out of play. Nothing doing for Pittsburgh here. Said coming into this game, Pittsburgh only conceded 1 goal over their last 4 games. That was in the 3-1 win against Phoenix, as this is given away right out of the back again. It's Griffin. It's rolled out wide. The cross was blocked. Another attempt. Out of the way by Knutson. And 2 brought down. Miami can carry it out. Gavilanes. Looking to play in behind. Osumanu sweeping over.
Well played by Osumanu, feeling the pressure of Frank Lopez.
This is flicked all the way back to Gagliardi. And he does just enough with it to get it away. And Ayambila has descended into the corner.
And we talk about momentum being a positive thing when you're building from the corners that you've just had, the free kick.
Mark your calendars for our next
But they need to
this Tuesday, May 7th.
grow out of these sequences and this momentum of building out of the back, and some of the turnovers they have, as Frank Lopez in a battle with Hogan.
You can claim your free ticket and join the excitement.
They've gotten away with a multitude of those turnovers in the back, and that's not going to be the way you want to concede a second one if you are to concede a second one.
It seems like at this point you concede a second one, that might be it. Got to keep it at 1-0 as long as possible. Osumanu Mertz driving in field. Switch of play for Etu, who's cuts it in. Etu, he slipped, it's in front, and Forbes couldn't put it over the line. It's out of play. It took a big deflection, corner kick.
And we saw it in the first goal, how explosive Junior Eto can be on the run. But here, showcasing how explosive he could be on the start-stop, getting on the ball, just exploding past his defender. Way too much time and space until somebody steps, and then Knutson with another big intervention.
Forbes delivers the corner kick, out of the way at the near post. Griffin couldn't get a shot towards goal, but he keeps possession. Griffin, now he'll go for it, and he rips it wide.
And those are going to be the chances that Miami is okay with giving to Pittsburgh, is these chances from about 25 yards out. But that chance that led to the corner, Junior Eto, again, he was involved in the first goal, and you've kind of limited his involvement here in the second half. Great ball played out wide, just runs out.
20 minutes to go in this game. Keziah Sterling's first half goal still standing up as a winning goal. 16th minute. Pittsburgh may be readying some subs as this one runs out of play.
I think another area that Miami is going to want to continue to develop is their ability to win the ball higher up the field. You've seen it a couple times where they have been able to do so, but misfiring on the pass. So finding consistency in that realm is going to be important, not only in this match, but moving forward throughout the season.
Here's Gagliardi. It's been an adventure tonight. It's not the cleanest here. Gagliardi, he'll get this one out though. Over the top, there's Gagliardi to claim. Langston Blackstock and Babacar Dien are preparing to come on. Chested down by Forbes. Trying to lay it off. Now it's Booth.
You've mentioned the play, the midfield play of Pittsburgh. And just to reiterate that, they've limited the involvement of Cabral and Andrew Booth. Two players that on the ball do a tremendous job of influencing tempo, when you can go forward, when to initiate attacks, and they just have not seen the ball at their feet, faced up, going at Pittsburgh. Everything has been back to goal. That sequence just a moment ago with Andrew Booth dribbling forward is probably one of the few times that I can remember him on the ball in a progressive moment.
Now two subs coming for Pittsburgh. It is Edward Kizza who will exit. And Danny Rovira will also be exiting. Second and third subs of the night for Pittsburgh. Dien, a goal and an assist for him so far this year in his first pro season. He played his college soccer at Ryder for Langston Blackstock, now in his second year. As he played at Clayton State University, Division II. Found the middle. This will go the way of Miami. Now a sub for Miami. Alejandro Mitrano will enter for Rocco Guenzano.
Checking out number 23.
Second sub of the game. Mitrano, another former Las Vegas Lights product. Previously time spent in Venezuela and Uruguay playing professionally. Long over the top and headed away. Sample. Now Barbier, as he stepped forward again. Roberto Molina. Here's Cardona. And chipped out of play.
And that's another player that's had limited influence in this match is Barbier. He is so effective going forward, not only on the dribble, and when you have a center back that can enter the attacking half on the dribble, that's a scary sight, but also his passing range.
May the Swartz be with you.
Have not seen him
Spaceballs night,
on the ball.
Special guest Michael Winslow on Saturday, May 18th.
Playing those entry balls. And for Pittsburgh, making these substitutions, you mentioned the squad rotation earlier.
Get your tickets now.
This is where this identity of this Riverhounds side is going to showcase itself.
Over the top, and Etu just couldn't bring that onto his foot.
This is a team that, when they make substitutions, they do not miss a beat. Talk about Pittsburgh not losing a beat when they make substitutions. I think that's where Miami FC is still trying to find a bit of flow, as well as what does the depth and the rotation and the roles and the effectiveness, what does that look like from each of these players? And that's where this game is at 1-0. If you're a substitute, go on and make a play and impact it.
Sample trying to come through the middle. He was cut down. And this will be brought back for a free kick. There will be a talking to as well. I'm not sure a card will be issued. It's Cabral.
And I know that from the overall flow and dynamics of this game, you're going to look at it and Pittsburgh's going to feel pretty comfortable about their performance in 78 minutes thus far. But for Miami, you go into the final 10 minutes, and if it's still 1-0, I mean, you're a team that continues to grow, that wants to compete, that wants to show that performance after performance. You got nothing to lose. You go out and you concede a second one. What's the difference? You can throw numbers, you can be a bit more, not reckless going forward, but you could be a bit more progressive in that area where, you know, leaving yourself available 1v1 in the back, throwing some more numbers forward. That's the danger when you haven't been able to find that second goal.
The door is still ajar.
Hey, Riverhounds fans, tune in next week, May 11th.
And for that game against Detroit City FC, Pittsburgh had scored both of their goals in that 2-0 result in the first half.
Sportsnet Pittsburgh is an official broadcasting
And that definitely
partner
changes the
of
way
the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
you can approach the second 45. And here, this game is just not out of reach for Miami, although they have not put together any sustained attacking presence. We saw it on the free kick and the corner kick that Nicholas Cardona got on the end of. Just takes a play like that, and for Pittsburgh, it's still too early to say that the slow start has negatively affected them, but 1 point and 3 points tonight.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference, and turn around and play the same team twice in a row. You played FC Tulsa here at home hosting the US Open Cup, and then you're at FC Tulsa just a few days later.
This is played over the top. Alan Gavilanes is in, and he puts it out of play. That has got to be one of the best chances of the night for Miami to draw even.
And this clip ball in just kind of catches Pittsburgh by surprise. Felt like the initial pressure was good, and great ball in, and it almost seems like Gavilanes has too much time to think about what he's doing. He just gets it all wrong. I'm not sure if he was trying to serve the ball or take a shot. It just looked like that ball popped up on him in the last minute.
And now this is played right through the middle. Gagliardi nearly gives it away. I mean, not to pile on, but that has been multiple times tonight, playing out of the back. And Miami has just not gotten this right.
And these are things that playing out of the back has not hurt you tonight. In terms of it has not turned into a goal against. But these are moments and these are sequences that could come down and punish you later on in the season, if not the next match, because everybody, and you hear it from coach after coach, it's about the way we play. It's about us executing our game plan. And you always get that aspect of it. But there's also pieces to the game that you're going to be forced to play out of the back. And for Miami FC, don't be surprised if teams continue to probably bait you into playing out of the back and maybe guiding you one way or the other and making you play a different variety out of the back, because they've really highlighted their struggles here tonight.
That's why I'm always curious, asking coaches what they think control in a game looks like. Because Miami FC, they have more possession, they haven't had more shots, but possession doesn't always equal control. And I would say that Miami really has not had much control of this game. It's been played how Pittsburgh has wanted it to be played.
Yeah, that's a fascinating question and topic, because, and that's why you get a lot of players, a lot of coaches like myself that say goals change games, because everything in between is up for debate and up for interpretation. You can talk to a multitude of people and feel and get a different explanation of how they felt the game went, and talk to both coaches, and they're going to tell you a different story on how they felt the game unfolded. That's why, in the end of the day, that score sheet says so much. And that's what makes this game, in general, such a special one, because all the different styles, all the different formations, different methodologies, approaches, and it's one thing in common: outscore your opponent, be on the right side of that score line at the end of the 90.
Looking for Lopez, but it's turned over. Maybe something on for Pittsburgh. Can they put this game to bed? Not yet.
Yeah, and if there's an area that Pittsburgh is going to look back at and really want to be more effective moving forward, it's finding a moment that puts this game away. As we talked about it, if this game is at 2-0, I mean, that in itself almost feels like a mountain to climb for Miami FC, just because of the lack of production there in the final third that they've showcased.
As Dick claims this, 6 minutes to go. Rain continuing to fall. Miami trying to make it 2 wins in a row. Pittsburgh trying to make it 3. And 5 games unbeaten. Manuel Bota is preparing to come on momentarily. Flag up for offside on Dien. I think they'll take that sub here. And Alan Gavilanes, his night is over. He had maybe the best chance of the game for Miami to score. He couldn't convert. Now Bota, another young Italian, is on, 21 years old.
And that's going to be something that Gavilanes is going to want to grow from, and he will. And it's one of those games where you just didn't have consistent touches, you didn't have consistent rhythm. But being the player he is, knowing that you're most likely going to create one good chance for yourself, and it's about being up for that moment. As you mentioned, Gavilanes, that probably the best chance of the night for Miami FC to equalize. And going back to trying to find this second goal and putting this game away. 2 big interventions by Knutson has kept this game, and then the big save by Gagliardi as well.
And Pittsburgh, to be fair, they've had chances to put this game away. They have not done it. And has left the door open for Miami to find something in it. I'm sure that is something that Bob Lilly will talk to his team about. Remember in prior years, he's mentioned that same storyline. And now trying to catch the goalkeeper off his line. It wasn't far off, but Gagliardi was scrambling. And Booth is down for Miami.
It looked like Booth had taken a bit of a knock there, right above the 18, and see this attempt from distance. And just we're talking about it, this game leaving so much for interpretation. And you get this result for Pittsburgh, they're still going to be amongst one of the lowest scoring teams in the USL. But I guarantee that this is a team that is not going to care much.
2 more subs on Jackson Walty. Aiden O'Toole replaced Robbie Mertz and Canardo Forbes. And those are the final 2 subs of the game for Pittsburgh. Aiden O'Toole making just his 3rd appearance. He's played sparingly, just a minute against Phoenix, 6 minutes against Tampa Bay. Jackson Walty also coming on. He has played 3 games so far this year. He started in all 3 of the losses and has not played since.
And with that point, Pittsburgh being one of the lowest scoring teams in the USL, obviously crawling out of that stat, because now this is 3rd straight game with a goal. If they can hold on to the clean sheet, it'd be 2nd straight and 4th clean sheet in 5 games. We talked about those opening 3 matches conceding 6, and now you've gone on a run, and it is right now 4 unbeaten, trying to push it to 5 unbeaten. You've only conceded once.
Well, I don't think they're going to have a harder stretch this year than at New Mexico, Orange County, and then at Louisville. To start the season, that's a gauntlet, and they definitely turned it around. This comes in field. Griffin just couldn't get it out from his feet, but he does win it back for the Riverhounds. As the rain really starting to pick up now. Down the line, O'Toole. Out of play, it's a throw-in coming. Next few games, we mentioned the home and away against Tulsa. One in the Open Cup, one in the league, and then North Carolina and Memphis to close out the month for Pittsburgh. As for Miami, already out of the Open Cup, losing to Tormenta, so they'll play on Sunday against Indy, and at Phoenix, home against North Carolina to close out the month.
And an Indy 11 team that has been a bit slow out of the gates as well. 2 teams in Pittsburgh and Indy 11 that we don't typically see those slow starts, and so there's no question you're going to be playing an Indy 11.
It's Molina, it's a big deflection, and it's taken by Eric Dick. As we are into 3 minutes of stoppage time.
There's no question that Miami's going to play an Indy 11 team that's intent on showcasing their form as well, just like Pittsburgh in the run they're in, as we see this deflected shot.
Well, some nights there's a lot of goals in the USL, like last week tonight. Just one of those nights. Couple 0-0 draws currently with North Carolina, Rhode Island, Loudoun, and Detroit 0-0 as well. It's time to take a look at tonight's man of the match. It is brought to you by Modelo. Has to be our goal scorer in Keziah Sterling.
Yeah, well-timed run. Good, clever play out there by Junior Eto. And then the timing, exploding into that space and continuing to grow into this season, and somebody that Bob Lilly and this team are going to lean on. As Bob Lilly said it, it's not going to rely on one person offensively to get it done, and it was on full display in that run of play.
Miami will continue to search. Still have a minute to find something in this game. Sometimes results can mask performances, and it doesn't look like they're going to get anything out of this one at the moment. O'Toole on the turn. Gagliardi able to make the save. 50 seconds to go.
But I think just like in the last match that was 3 points for Miami, Antonio Nocerino, I would dare to say, is going to be happy with the fight from his group and the spirit and the competitiveness in which they played. They were looking to problem solve and break down an always tough to break down Pittsburgh Riverhounds side.
Atu plays it in field. Deanne battling for it. It's taken on the volley, and it's over the bar. Final few seconds. That's O'Toole, former Summit League first team player out of Denver.
Always looking at goal there. Knew he was going to take it on the bounce. Just about hitting it flush.
Here they come again, Miami. Here's Booth. Cabral, it's right at Eric Dick. And that is it. Pittsburgh hold on for all 3 points. The one first half goal is enough. It's 3 straight wins and another clean sheet for Bob Lilly's Riverhounds.
Yeah, comprehensive performance by Bob Lilly's group. Found some explosive plays, created some explosive chances in the attacking third. Were met by some good defensive plays by Miami FC. We talk about Knutson making some tackles that saved some goals, the save by Gagliardi. But just an overall performance by Pittsburgh, getting the goal they needed, handling this game, and picking up a big 3 points.
Well, it is Pittsburgh to get the win. Eric Dick posts another clean sheet. Time to take a look at tonight's smooth save of the game. It is presented by Smoothie King. Just 2 shots on target. This was one of them.
And this was a spell where he makes this save, Eric Dick makes this save, leads to the corner, and then Cardona gets on another one, puts it wide, but this was an important moment for Pittsburgh, holding on to that 1-0 lead, and that's what you need your goalkeeper to do, is come up big when he's called upon.
So we will come back and wrap things up after this from Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh, but it is the Riverhounds that come away with 3 points. Our full-time score, Pittsburgh 1, Miami 0. Stay with us, more after this.
Hey, you dropped your PA Lottery's new instant $1 million jackpot. It's go time. Coming through. Wow. Whoa. Ooh. You dropped this.
Wow, thanks.
You never know, it could be the big prize. Well, gotta scoot. Keep on scratching.
At AHN, good heart care starts before you're just not feeling right. Before you say, it'll go away on its own. Before it doesn't. Because before an emergency, there's time to stop heart problems with a simple preventative heart check. At AHN, we see you.
Where can you get Wi-Fi speeds faster than Verizon? X marks the spot. Get the lowest price ever for Xfinity Gig Speed Internet with unlimited data included. That's Xfinity Gig Speed Internet for only $30 a month for 12 months with no annual contract, and you add a line of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited. If you want to save more than $800 over Verizon in your first year, X marks the spot. Switch to fast, reliable Xfinity Internet and bring on the good stuff.
Team talk, but a victorious team talk tonight from Bob Lilly as the Pittsburgh Riverhounds close out a 1-0 victory over Miami FC and do what they need to do on the night to get the victory. As we look back at these 90 minutes with our full-time highlights, first matchup of the year between these two sides, and we go all the way back to the first half, and this was the moment that was the difference.
And Pittsburgh just flexible throughout the night. I mean, they could do it in the ability to quick strike, and they do it in moments like this where this ball is won in their defensive half, worked across the field. Biasi, the patience to drive, see what Miami FC is giving him, and Junior Eto, who was explosive out in that wide area all night, taking this ball past, and then Sterling there to put it away, and what proved to be the deciding goal for Miami FC. We thought that set pieces might be the way back into this game because they just were not having a lot of success breaking down Pittsburgh. And it came from 2 chances. First, this one where Cardona gets on the end and Eric Dick makes a tremendous save, and then follows it up with a corner, and Cardona gets on the end of that one as well. But 7 shots to Pittsburgh 16, and although the possession percentage favored Miami FC, it was really along the back of their back line for Miami FC. Nothing that was progressive, nothing breaking lines and playing at tempo. And Pittsburgh, the 5 shots on goal and the one that mattered.
These two teams will play again in October, but for tonight, it is Pittsburgh to get their 4th ever win over Miami FC for our entire crew. Broadcast partner Eric Dobransky, I'm Josh Eastern saying so long. The Riverhounds win this one tonight. Thanks for watching on the CBS Sports Golazo Network. Good night from Pittsburgh.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.